This LOS is compare affirmative and negative covenants and identify examples of each. Covenants. Bond covenants are legally enforceable rules that borrowers and lenders agree on at the time of a new bond issue. Affirmative covenants are typically administrative in nature. For example, frequently used affirmative covenants include what the issuer will do with the proceeds from the bond issue and the promise of making the contractual payments. These type of covenants do not impose additional costs to the issuer and do not materially constrain the issuer's discretion regarding how to operate its business. In contrast, negative covenants are frequently costly and do materially constrain the issuer's potential business decisions. The purpose of negative covenants is to protect bondholders from such problems as the dilution of their claims, asset withdrawals or substitutions, and suboptimal investments by the issuer. Examples of negative covenants include the following: restrictions on debt. Negative pledges prevent the issuance of debt that would be senior to or rank in priority ahead of the existing bondholder's debt. Other restrictions, examples of negative covenants, include restrictions on asset disposals, restrictions on distributions to shareholders, and restrictions on mergers and acquisitions. So we'll do a quick practice question to check our understanding. An example of an affirmative covenant is the requirement A, that dividends will not exceed 60% of earnings, B, to ensure and perform periodic maintenance on financed assets, or C, that the debt-to-equity ratio will not exceed 0.4 and times interest earned will not fall below 8.0. B is correct. Affirmative covenants indicate what the issuer must do and are administrative in nature. A covenant requiring the issuer to ensure and perform periodic maintenance on financed assets is an example of affirmative covenant. A and C are incorrect because they are negative covenants. They indicate what the issuer cannot do. So the key to that one, you can see the word not. Will not exceed 60%. Will not exceed 0.4. Will not fall. So when you see the word not, that's a negative covenant. So that question should be fairly easy. One last quick practice question to finish this LOS. An example of a covenant that protects bondholders against the dilution of their claims is a restriction on A, debt, B, investments, or C, mergers and acquisitions. That one should be fairly easy as well. A is correct. A restriction on debt typically takes the form of a maximum acceptable debt usage ratio or a minimum acceptable interest coverage ratio. Thus, it limits the issuer's ability to issue new debt that would dilute the bondholder's claims. B and C are incorrect because they are covenants that restrict the issuer's business activities by preventing the company from making investments or being taken over respectively. And that's the last slide for this LOS. Thank you.